Redditors who are married to someone with an identical twin, what are your feelings towards the twin? My boyfriend's twin is like a brother to me. It's nice to be able to talk to him when I'm concerned about since he knows how he thinks. When his twin says I have nothing to worry about, I know there isn't. I'm an identical twin, and the day me and my husband are getting married, my mother says to me, "Hey, did you know in high school that husband really had the hots for my twin sister?" Weird. Huh. Apparently, he had told my mother this in confidence when he went and bought my wedding present. And she felt the need to tell me this on my wedding day. I bring it up constantly now because it crushed me on my wedding day. And now I find it hilarious. Edit. Another little tidbit I left out. When we officially met, I had recently colored my hair platinum, which is the color my sister had her hair in high school. So he also thought I was my sister then, and that's why he struck up conversation. Only to find out I was the other twin. What a horrible thing to say to you on your wedding day. I'm married to an identical twin. I always say I married the hot one. There are more personality differences than you think. Married to an identical twin. It's funny. I met my husband on Tinder, and both him and his twin had profiles. I often think, what if I would have swiped right on his twin first? It most definitely wouldn't have worked. Not because I dislike my husband's twin, but because our personalities simply don't click that way. Regardless, I have a very close relationship with my husband's twin. I think of him as my protector. And I hope he thinks the same of me. When he moved to our town for a job, he actually lived with us for 6 months. Despite the fact that my husband and I were newly married, I look back on that time very fondly, so we grew really close. I feel very lucky to have such a great relationship with him. My dad is an identical twin. So I have an uncle dad. That's weird to type and say out loud. All I can say is that I'm definitely married to the nice one. Married to an identical twin going on 8 years. When I first found out, I thought it would be wacky and entertaining like a movie. But it sucks ass. Her twin is a psycho and one of the worst people I've ever met. She wants to be the alpha twin. They are so competitive about everything. I have a friend who's married to an identical triplet. One time he was visiting his sil and she asked him to leave the room because she was going to nurse her baby. I'm not identical, but I am a triplet where my brother and I look very similar. All of my brother's ex-GFs bond with me afterwards, even if we didn't like each other before. I think it's because we both know that my brother's a complete asshole. Step 1. Have a more attractive twin. Step 2. Manipulate him to grow up as a confident asshole. Step 3. Set him up with girls out of your league. Step 4. Gaslight his relationship. Step 5. Popcorn. Step 6. I'm an identical twin. My twin is dead. Wife has no feelings as far as I can tell. I dated a twin. Her sister's boyfriend had the same car as me. Sounds like a lie so that you could own both of them, lol. My sister-in-law's ex-husband is a twin. He left her and it took her a long time to move on because she would keep hanging out with the twin and his wife. Twin is my wife's evil copy. Not much of anything. He's my brother-in-law. And honestly, they look less alike than some fraternal twins I know. They have very different personalities. And his brother is totally not my type. That didn't stop me from asking some curious questions though. 1. If we were to find my husband was infertile, would he agree to using his brother as a donor? Not in the I'd have sex with him way because I mean, it's literally the exact same DNA. Hubby said definitely no. 2. If we have kids, and he has kids, they're cousins. But are they also technically half siblings? Since they're half identical DNA, half other mothers? Hubby called me weird. I think these are legitimate questions. Edit. To clarify, Hubby is a true identical twin. He's a gamer and an Air Force comms guy. His brother is a roofer and a smoker. Makes for two very different looking people. They look alike. But I have zero difficulty identifying my husband next to his brother. I am married to one of inseparable identical twins. My wife and her sister are two peas in a pod and extremely dependent on each other. I knew when I married one I was marrying half of the other one too. Capital D. But I love my wife so much. Including her sister in the picture too. My wife's sister is always at our place as much as my wife is at her sister's place. We do have a good dynamic. Understanding about the relationships and we have no boundaries broken. Way late to the party. But I know a woman whose husband cheated on her with her identical twin. Then got her twin pregnant. Divorced her and married her twin. I guess you could say he liked her better. I'm one of triplets. 2 girls and a boy. My sister and I are identical but our brother doesn't look anything like us. Most people don't believe us when we tell them who our brother is. We're not married but my boyfriend also has a twin brother. They look a lot alike. But it was easy telling them apart early on. My boyfriend is more social and relaxed with people while his brother is more introverted and sometimes even socially awkward. Because I myself have a twin. It's not weird to me so I treat his brother the same way as if they weren't twins. Edit 1. Yes hello. You've summoned me. Satan I mean. Me. Your twin sister. My husband is an identical twin. It is weird. Because sometimes. Especially when walking around or doing something. I really have to watch out not to mix them up. Then. When sitting down or whenever it is absolutely clear who is who. I find the twin looks nothing like my husband and I find him kind of unattractive. I went to school with 3 sets of identical twins. After getting to know them you notice the small differences. People got freaked out that I could easily tell the difference between them. I am an identical twin and all my brother's ex-GFs always distanced themselves from me even if we were friends prior to them dating. But his current GF and I are very close. I really hope they get married. They have my seal of approval. Not quite what you were asking but I dated a twin in high school. We were both very reserved. Quiet people. His twin brother was much more outgoing and happened to have a girlfriend that looked a lot like me, same hair color and build. At least. They would make out everywhere with absolutely no shame. One day my boyfriend and I got pulled into the principal's office to talk about our inappropriate behavior at school. It was humiliating. And were finally able to stammer through our explanation that no. You've got the wrong couple. The principal was very kind about it and we had a good laugh. But I'm sure I was tomato red for the whole conversation. I'm a twin. But despite being identical we don't really look alike. I had some birth defects that stunted my growth. And she's 6 inches taller. My husband was friends with my sister before we started dating. They met while doing a play together. And we didn't meet until a few months later. They actually played a couple and had kissing scenes. So he's one of probably few people who can say he's kissed twins. While he thinks my sister looks nice, and she is objectively pretty. He's never been attracted to her. Edit. Whoa. This blew up. Thanks to all the people convinced that my husband's lying and secretly wants to bang my sister. I assure you that. Aside from hair and eye color. We really don't look anything alike. She's both taller and proportionately heavier than I am. With a different hairstyle and contacts. I'm constantly mistaken for being a few years younger. We look like siblings. But not like twins. My husband was born with a mostly absorbed identical twin. The doctors removed it and all he has is a tiny scar. But I do not he has 2 personalities. Sometimes I think that half of his brain is one twin and the other half is the other. He also refers to himself as we a lot without much thought. Have an upvote for some Stephen King. Okay. Story time. I met a guy on a dating app. We'll call him T. We talked for a bit and then met up at a bar for a few drinks. As far as dates go, it was pretty awkward. T was pretty cute, but he was a bit of a disaster. At one point he mentioned he had a brother who he thought I'd get along with pretty well. And I, jokingly, asked him for his brother's number. I mean, the date was going terribly. What did I have to lose? He didn't give me the number. The date ended. We went our separate ways. Then, months later, I meet another guy through the same dating app. We start talking. Come to find out, he is T's brother. Not just any brother. He is his identical twin. We hit it off. His personality is basically the opposite of T's. We're still together today. Life is weird. Plot twist. What if T never really had a twin but pretended to be his brother and switched personalities to get a second chance with you? I dated twin brothers in 6th grade. One asked me out one day and then the other asked me out later that week. I didn't realize what a boyfriend was then. I also didn't realize you can't have two at the same time even if they are twins. They were both arrested for hate crimes as adults. I'm married to an identical twin. They are very dependent of each other but fight like you won't believe. I have tons of funny stories because I lived with both of them for a little while. When they get angry, they kinda black out and call each other nasty stuff that makes no sense. For example, they will call each other ugly cows. They are 100% identical. Also, they both sleepwalk a lot. Like every night. I woke up once to my wife, then girlfriend, putting her rollerblades on at night while her sister was walking around the apartment with a stuff atop like a tray and a wooden spoon. She was dreaming of being a waitress, I guess. I just went back to bed. Also, you know that scene in Paranormal Activity where the wife stands by the bed staring at her husband for hours? Yep. That's just a Tuesday for me. As for my feelings toward her twin, she's like a sister only. Nothing more. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I have a few stories in the comments below if anyone is interested. My dad is a twin. My mom actually dated his twin first and when they broke up, my dad asked her out. My uncle is now married to a nice woman with the same first name as my mom. My sister-in-law is married to an identical twin. The only noticeable difference between the two is the twin stands up straighter. From what I understand, she is incredibly attracted to the twin, obviously. Right? And doesn't allow herself to be drunk around him. It causes me anxiety to think about that. Edit. I'm not the twin. Sil is my wife's sister. My auntie lost her husband and father of her child in the war. She married his twin brother afterwards. That makes sense. I couldn't imagine losing the love of my life and then seeing his exact carbon copy every day and not have some sort of feelings. Also, I couldn't imagine losing a twin and knowing that my niece's nephews are without a mother and that, genetically, they are pretty much mine. And then to be able to marry someone who loved my twin almost as much as I did, although in different ways, so that I had a partner who understood my grief and we could mourn our losses together. I think that would be comforting. Not married, but my girlfriend has an identical twin and she is her complete polar opposite and a giant. I always tell her it's easy to know which of them is the evil twin. I love my husband's twin like he's my brother too. He even calls me sis. They look so different that I haven't had any conflicting feelings. And would never mistake them unless their backs were turned to me. My husband wears his hair a little longer and is clean shaven. And is typically dressed for the office. His brother keeps his hair buzzed short and wears a long beard. And dresses to work outside. They sound like the Property Brothers. Waiting for the exciting plot twist in which someone dating an identical twin also pretends to be an identical twin to be able to have a relationship with both of the twins. My husband is actually a triplet. His brother is okay. Hair on my nerves. Their personalities are completely different. His sister is cool but I don't see that going anywhere either. Edit. I started dating a twin. When my roommate met her he joked she's hot. Does she have a twin? So I introduced them and they started dating. My roommate and my wife's twin got married 2 years before my wife and I got married. So now at family gatherings, it's me and my old roommate hanging out with our twin wives. It's weird but really great. Semicolon. And then to make it especially crazy, the two of them had children a couple years ago. They had twins that were born on the birthday of our wives. Semicolon. Edit. Someone below pointed out that I did not answer the question. And in my opinion that just will not stand. So to answer. Her sister is great. I love her very much. Their personalities are surprisingly different, but complement each other perfectly when they're together. They have a weird ability to make friends with every single person in a room when they're together. And it's really fun to watch in action. My wife has a twin sister who was my ex during our teen years. I treasure the moments that I had with her in the past and being able to grow together now that she's my sister-in-law. Fun fact. Her twin sister is married to my buddy who was the ex to my wife. We sometimes joke about it, wondering how life would be if we didn't swap partners. TL. DR so far. I'm married to a twin and she asked me if I found her sister attractive. I said, of course. I do. You're twins. If I find you attractive, then it would be illogical for me not to find her attractive. 2. Thankfully, she laughed and agreed with me. Plan B. My brothers are twins. I go back and forth with which one I like more. When one's not being an asshole, the other is. I am getting married to a twin next week. Nothing really. Broadcaster and podcaster Leo Laporte said that his wife had an identical twin. He said something like, well, I love my sister-in-law, I would never marry her. I guess nature versus nurture is a real thing. Two persons with the same identical genetic makeup can grow up to be different personalities. I find his brother ugly lol. I see them completely different. Fun fact. He just had identical twins. They are not hereditary, so what are the chances lol? Narayosu's copyright airing. Edit. I guess he's ugly because I don't really care for his personality. Gay dude, dated a twin once. And his identical brother was in the closet at the time. The one I was dating cheated on me and the in the closet one consoled me. And we ended up sleeping together. It was super surreal. He was definitely the gentler, sweeter twin. But we didn't continue the relationship. Anybody knows dating someone freshly out of the closet and just discovering their identity is not going to last. Their bodies were identical and I really loved his brother before the heartbreak of him cheating. So it was intense and crazy. Not exactly what you're asking. But I'm a twin to a male. I'm female. We look a lot alike. I mean everything exact except he has a beard and shaved his hair. His girlfriends throughout the years have always hated me because of how close we are. One even said we were dating each other. Neosu's copyright airing. I just love my copy and paste version so much that I talk to him once in a while. Not married, but in a serious long-term relationship with a twin I've known since we were 16. I always joke that I'm only dating him to get close to the other twin. He's actually in the process of transitioning now. And I've asked my boyfriend how it'll feel having an identical twin sister and stuff like that. In all honesty, if something bad ever happened to my boyfriend, I like to think I'd be close to his brother, but I'm not too sure. He's incredibly closed off and extremely introverted. He's started to ask me about makeup and it makes me pretty hopeful that we can at least sort of bond or connect over that in the future. She's super nice. There was one hang up when me and her sister first got together though. We got drunk. And we snuck back in the house. I went to pee. And in my stupor didn't realize I stepped into the wrong room. And that's how I accidentally ate her dad. I used to skate with these two kids who were identical twins and they would go out of the room, trade shirts, and go back in and trick their girlfriends into eyeing the wrong one. So I'll pay them. I dated a twin my last year of high school, first year of college. He was an abuse asshole who threatened to kill me. His twin was abusive but only emotionally. And he enabled his brother's abusive nature and enabled him when he stopped taking his schizophrenia medications. They also had strange sternum bones where they could actually fit together like a two-piece puzzle. I was dating an identical twin. Her sister was married and had 3 kids. They did not look identical. Crazy what kids could do to you. Not married to a twin. But I have a friend on Facebook who is a twin. I farted once on the set of Blue Lagoon. Dated an identical twin. I always thought her sister looked better. But mine had a more compatible personality. I dated a twin. Her identical twin sister was insanely jealous to the point of cock-blocking. We broke up for unrelated reasons. My friend went on to marry twin in question and they had similar problems. Her twin is really codependent and intrusive. Not respectful of boundaries and would literally try to get between them. Super weird. Identical twin here. Pretty much every romantic relationship I've been in has resulted in my GF becoming jealous of my relationship with my brother. I feel like there's an expectation that a married couple will have their most intimate relationship with their spouse. Mine is with my twin brother. No one will ever know me as well as he does. It's simple fact in my life and one I cannot change. I have 2 cousins who are identical twins. Let's call them A and B. The man will be called Douche. I was dating this douche for a few years and ended up getting pregnant. B and Douche were apparently sleeping together for quite some time. B ended up pregnant at the same time. Douche dumped A and got engaged to B, now married. So Douche has 2 kids the same age with 2 different people who happen to be identical twins. I know this sounds like Simarthathapant, but I promise it's true. This makes me so sad because my twin hates me irrationally because he has a superiority complex. Semicolon. Still haven't read a zany story involving twins tricking a BFGF. Sigh, you disappoint me. Reddit. A friend of mine was married to a lovely young woman who was hit by a car while jogging and killed. She had an identical twin, though. So he still knows the twin and he claims that she is a different person to him, so it's not a trip. I have to take his word for it. I feel like I'd be really tripped out. Obligatory, not me, but my parents. My mom actually went to her senior prom with my dad's twin brother. However, after getting to know my dad's twin, she realized she liked my dad's personality better. Even though my dad and his twin are crazy identical in appearance. They have such opposite personalities, my dad being quiet, reserved. My uncle loud and the life of the party, that my mom just sees my uncle as another one of my dad's brothers. Surprising as it is, I do not get along nearly as well with my sister-in-law. Despite being twins and very similar, I have difficulty communicating with her. Any type of joke or simple conversational quip has a good chance of going over her head. Oftentimes my wife will translate for me because she understands how my mind can make serious leaps. That and I'm in the army. So when me and my wife first started getting serious and it became apparent she was going to move to be with me, her sister treated me like utter. Things are fairly amiable now, but I haven't forgot how much of a bitch she was at first. I love him more than I feel like I would a normal brother-in-law because he is a carbon copy of my husband. But I have no romantic feelings towards him whatsoever. Their personalities are polar opposites and I could never be attracted to him sexually or anything. Finally, one where I can participate. My wife is a twin. Her sister and I have a relationship that I would liken to brother and sister. I am an only child, so it works out great for me. As far as romantic interests go, I am not interested in the twin at all. They are completely different people. So there is no danger of her and I hooking up or anything at all like that. My wife's identical twin sister does my I'm nut in. I'm unfamiliar with this expression and could see it meaning one of 2 completely opposite things. I used to date an identical twin. Her sister and I did not get along. She was a stuck-up, vapid, sanctimonious girl. When I started dating my ex, her sister was the hot one. By the end of the relationship, my twin was the hot one. Fun story. The sister's boyfriend was a pretty cool guy. One time we were chatting and we realized we had lost our virginity to the same person within 24 hours of each other. And 2 years later we were dating identical twins. Pretty bizarre. I like this thread. I hope it front pages so we can get more juicy stories. It's Reddit, so it will mostly be not a twin or married. People looking for the answer to the real question. Redditors who are married to someone with an identical twin. How many threesomes have you had?